children, today also I'm here to teach you another new lesson. That's chapter 6 in your textbook, estimation and rounding off. These are not familiar for you, those are new terms. So in this lesson, what we do, we are understanding what estimation means, give a good estimate when required, understand what rounding off means, and round off a whole number to the nearest multiple of 10. Look at these questions. What time did you go to school today? So normally 7:15 like. But you are not sure. You don't look at your time when you go to school. So around or about 7:15 a.m. What is your age? You are in grade 6, 11 years. But it's difficult to, count and say, I am 11 years, 2 months, how many days? You don't need exactly. So you can say roughly, I am 11 years. What is the distance your school is from your bus halt? 1 kilometer? About. So normally we don't measure. About 1 kilometer. What is the length of the grade 6 mathematics book? Roughly 15 centimeters. About 15 centimeters you can say. How many teaspoons of sugar are needed for your cup of tea? So normally your mother put roughly 2 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon, 2 teaspoons. How much of rice is necessary for lunch for a family of 6? So less than 1 kilo. So we'll say 1 kilo. About. How many loaves of bread are necessary for your family for breakfast? If you have 4 in your family, how many? 2 loaves, about 2. At what time do you wake up in the morning on weekdays? So you have to go to school, so you wake up around 5:30, around about 5:30 a.m. So when you look at all these questions, you don't need to measure the values, you say roughly. All these are not exact values. So we'll see what are those. To the answers given by you may be totally correct or some may be partially correct. Knowing some facts partially correct will help you in your daily life, because otherwise you have to measure how many grams are there. So you don't need that. Knowing facts partially correct without the use of measuring instruments is known as estimation. So we don't use any instruments to measure. So you can say rough values. So that's called estimation. So in this lesson, we are trying to estimate values without measuring. Very often, a driver of a motor vehicle uses estimation while driving. If the driver's estimation is incorrect, it may be result in accidents. So the driver needs to check whether he can overtake the vehicle so that he needs to look at the speed of his vehicle, speed of the vehicle in the front, as well as the vehicles coming towards the other side. So he needs to estimate and overtake the other vehicle. If the estimation is wrong, what will happen? Meet with an accident. When one vehicle overtakes another vehicle, estimation is necessary. To drive a car between two parked cars, estimation is necessary. Think about in the food city, there are parking slots and two vehicles parked there and there's a space in between. So do you get down and measure and see whether your vehicle can park? No, you need to have an idea about whether the space is enough to park your vehicle. So estimation is really important in daily work. So what are the important facts necessary for estimation to be correct? Experience. With experience, you know whether the space is enough or not and whether you can overtake vehicles. Careful examination. So you have to be careful. Having a good understanding about length, weight and time. And comparing with what you already know. So for example, when you make tea, first day you might put 2 tablespoons or teaspoons. Then if it's not okay, the next time you will reduce or you will put more compared to the taste. So that's what happened with experience and comparing with what you already know, you can estimate correctly. Building constructors use estimation to decide on quantities of stones, sand, cement and steel wires needed. So first they ask the owner to buy these list. But sometimes the number of stones you need may be extra. Sometimes you need to buy it again. So if you are a good constructor, sometimes you can guess it correctly. So that's why experience is important. Now take a look at this question. How to find the number of bananas in a bunch? So there are several combs in the banana bunch. So what you do? We can take the middle part of the bunch and select one comb. Then you can count how many bananas in one comb. Then what is the next step? You can count how many combs in that bunch and multiply those two values, you get total number of bananas. So what we do first? Count number of bananas in a comb in the middle. Middle of the bunch. Because we take in the middle, normally the number of bananas less in the upper part and the lower part, you get more in the middle part. So that's why we are taking the middle comb from the middle. Then you roughly count how many combs are there. Count number of combs in the bunch. Then what you do, you multiply the two values. Multiply the two values. For example, think about in one comb, you got 15 bananas. and there are 10 combs are there. So what's the total number of bananas? You multiply 15 times 10. That's 150 bananas are there. How to find out the yield of a brand new variety of rice? So what we can do? So you have to select an area in the paddy field. Then you can measure first the paddy, the quantity of the paddy, and you can sow the paddy in the field. Then when you take the yield, you can measure what you get from that separate area, and you can find out the yield per unit area. So then you know what's the yield per unit area. So what's the first step you can do? So you can select an area, and first thing you can select the area. Select an area in the paddy field. And then you can sow paddy. Here, when you are doing that, you have to measure first. So you can write, so measured quantity of paddy to the selected area. Then you can measure the yield. Measure the yield from the selected area. Then you know the yield, so you can find out then can calculate the yield per unit area. You can divide and get the yield per unit area. So all these are estimations. The children in your class wish to go on a one-day trip to Kandy. Estimate the money that should be charged from each child. So you need to find out what are the expenses we have when you want to go on a trip. So first thing, you need transport. So you have to ask a company or a driver and find out the cost for the transport. So you find cost of transportation. Then next, you need to find out the cost for lunch. So where you are going to buy your lunch packets. So cost for food, cost for food, especially lunch, because this is one-day trip. Then in between you need snacks, tea or drinks. So you need that cost as well, cost for snacks, tea or drinks. anything to eat, biscuits or anything. Then, and you calculate total cost, transportation, food, snacks. Sometimes when you go to places, you have to buy tickets also. So then the cost for the tickets, everything, you calculate total amount you need. So calculate total amount. Total amount you need, and then you have to divide that by the number of students who are going on this trip. Amount you need and divide this by number of students. So you get a rough value, estimated value. Then what you do, you are not charging the same amount. If it's 127, so the teacher, or if the total is 200 something, 230, then teacher will say, okay, 250. We can collect from each student about 250 rupees, not less than that. So we take the estimate the value to the highest, to the largest value, because you are not taking lower value. So if this is 230, you say 250 rupees. So sometimes this might extra. So what we can do, we can buy more snacks, or we can distribute after the trip. We can distribute the extra money to the students. So always we calculate a rough value, and you can ask the students to pay more than that. So that's why estimations are really important in day-to-day activities. Rounding off. So what is rounding off? Look at this one. We are trying to round off 14, 15 and 17. In the number line, value P is 14. And is it closer to 10 or 20? 14, here 4 parts are there, here 6 parts. So which one is closer, 10 or 20? It's closer to 10. When 14 is rounded off close to 10, we can say that's 10, not 20. It's closer to 10. The value of point R is 17. Is it closer to 10 or 20? To 20 only 3 parts, and here 7 parts. So which one is closer? It's closer to 20. So what's the rounded off value close to 10? We can say 20. If you take the value Q, that's 15. Is the value Q closer to 10 or 20? Both ways, that's 5, 5. So you can say either 10 or 20. Same distance from 15 to 20 as well as 15 to 10. In such instances, so what we do, if it's midway of two numbers, rounding to the highest value is the standard method. So what's the highest value out of 10 and 20? So we take 20. So when you are rounding to the nearest tens, when it's exactly halfway, you take the highest value. Identify rules of rounding off. Identify rules of rounding off. 27. 27 is in between 20 and 30. Which one is closer? 30 is the closest value, so the answer is 30. 34, in between 30 and 40. Which one is closer? This is 4 units, here 6 units, so 30 is the closest value. 88 is in between 80 and 90. 88, 2 units here, this is 8 units, so which one is closer? 90. 75 is in between, exactly in between 70 and 80. If the value is in the middle, you take the highest value, so that's 80. 138 in between 130 and 140. This is closer to 140. 273, that's 270 and 280. So this is 3 units, here 7 units, so this is closer. 319 is in between 310 and 320. So this is very close closer to 319. So the answer is 320. 575, 570 and 580, midway. So when you get midway, you take the highest value. So when you are rounding, just take the closest value. 2769. It's in between 2760, 2770. So which one is very close to each other? This one. So 2770. This one is in between 3270 and 3280. So this is just very close, 2 units. So 3280 is the closest value. This number 6971, 70 or 80. But this is very close. So 6970 is the closest value. 1799. So you get 1790 and 1800. So which one is closer? So just 1 unit away. So 1800 is the closest value. So identify rules of rounding off. Put an arrow to the rounding digit. Look at the right side digit to that. If it is 5 or more means it can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Add 1 to the digit that is rounding. Put zeros to all the other right hand side digits. If it is less than 5, it can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Write the rounding digit as it is and put zeros for all the other right hand side digits. So that's what happened. 5. If it's midway, you need to take the highest value. That means you are adding 1. So remember, if this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't add it. If it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we are adding 1 to that. Round off to the nearest 10. So put an arrow. So 8 is the number. So what's the number next to that? 7. 7 is more than 5. Then what you do? If it's 5, you add 1 to that. So what's the number? It becomes 90. 7 is the number. Next number is 8. more than 5, add 1 to that. So 80. 99. The next digit is plus 9. That's more than 5, add 1. So you get 100. 43. The number right to that is less than 5. 3. So we don't add. We write the digit as it is and put zeros for other right hand side digits. 273. 7 is the number you need to round. The next number is less than 5. So you don't add it and put a 0. 0 is less than 5. So you don't add it. You write as it is. 8. 8 is more than 5. Add 1. So this becomes 90. 99. Yes, you have to add 1. So when you add 1, this becomes 1000. Round off the given numbers to the nearest 100 now. This is 7 is the 100th digit. So next number is 4. So we don't add. So what's the number? 700 is the number. This is 6. Next number is 8. That means we need to add 1 to that. This becomes 700. This is 7. Next number is 9. You need to add 1. So 800 is the answer. 9 is the digit you need to round. 7 is the next number, more than 5. So you add 1. When you add 1, this becomes 10. So 1000 is the answer. This one is there, but next digit is 7. Yes, you need to add 1, 2200. 8 is the digit, 7 is the next digit. Add 1. So 4900. Next digit is 9. So you need to add 1. 9100. Next digit is 1. So you don't need to add 1. So 2100. Round off the length of the following rivers to the nearest 10 kilometers. So this is this place, 4. Next number is less than 5. So we don't add. So 140 kilometers. This one, 6 is the digit. Next number is 3. We don't add. So 160 kilometers. This one, 3 is the digit. Next number is 5. If it's 5 or more, you add 1 to the number. So 340. Kelani River is 143. So this is the place. Next number is less than 5. So you don't add. 140 kilometers. Wallaby River 139. So this is the digit we need to round. Next number is 9. That means we need to add 1 to that. So 140. It's 140 kilometers. When a number rounded off to the nearest 10, the value was 60. Write down all possible 2-digit numbers. So the rounded value is 60. So when you take to the right side, 61 also possible because 1 is less than 5, we don't add it. 62 is possible. 63 possible. 64 possible. Can we write 65? 65, we add 1. So that becomes 70. So 65 you can't write. Now towards this side, 59, yes, we can add 1 to that and that's 60. 58 possible, 57, 56, 55 also possible because we can add 1 to that. Can we write 54? 54 you can't write because 4 is less than 5. So you can't add 1. Then it becomes 50. Answer is 60. So these are the possible values. When you round it, you are getting 60 as the answer. When a number rounded off to the nearest 10, the value was 120. What are the possible numbers? So to this side, you can write 121. We are not adding. 122, 123, 124. Can we write 125? 5, you have to add 1, then that becomes 130. So that's not possible. So this end, you can write 100, 119, 118, because we can add 1 to that. So that becomes 120, 117, 116, 115. We have to add 1. That's possible. Can we write 114? We can't write 114 because 4 is less than 5, then we can't add. So that becomes 110. But the value is 120. So these are the possible numbers we can write when the number rounded to 120. Find the answer by rounding off to the nearest 10. 28. This becomes 30 because we are adding 1. 43. This becomes 40 because we are not adding 1. 30 plus 40, you get 70. 49, when you round correct to nearest 10, this becomes 50. 9, you have to add 1. 32, you are not going to add, that becomes 30. So 50 plus 30, that's 80. When you take this one, 39 and 73, more than 5, so you need to add 1. So this becomes 40. Here, this one, that's 70. We don't add it. 40 plus 70, 110. 56, when you round, you get 60 because you need to add 1. 28, also we need to add 1. That becomes 30. 60 plus 30, answer is 90. 43, when you round it to the nearest 10, this becomes 40. We are not adding 1. 35, we take the highest one, that's 40. 40 and 40, you get 80. This one, you need to round correct to nearest 10. This is 510 plus this one, 30. We are not adding. So you get 540. 72. What's the answer? 70 is a rounded value. Here 24. Rounded value is 20. We are not adding 1 because less than 5. 70 minus 20 is 50. 67. When you round it, that becomes 70. You need to add 1. 36 also, you need to add 1 there because more than 5. So 70 minus 40, you get 30 as the answer. 54 minus 12. What's the answer here? 50 minus here 10. 50 minus 10 is 40. 42, when you round it, you get 40. 32, when you round it, you get 30. 40 minus 30, you get 10. Find the answer by rounding off to the nearest 10. So, you need to first find the place, that's 10's place. The next number, right side number is more than 5, add 1, that's 20. This one, we don't add, that's 20. 20 times 20, 400. 39, when you round it, you get 40. You need to add 1. 52 you can't add, so that's 50. 40 times 50, you get 2000. 75 and 42, when you round it to the nearest 10, this becomes 80 because you need to add 1. 42, you don't need to add 1. So you get 8 times 4, 32, 3200 as the answer. This one, 31, you can round it to 30. 28 also round it to 30 because more than 5. 30 times 30. 900. Now division. 58, round it to nearest 10. This becomes 60. 14, no need to add 1, so that's 10. 60 divided by 10, you get 6. 88 becomes 90 because you have to add 1. 13 becomes 10. No need to add 1. 90 divided by 10, that's 9. All these are estimated values. 73, you can round it to 70. 12, you can round it to 10. 70 divided by 10, answer is 7. 98, when you round it, you get 100. 19, when you round it, you need to add 1. So that's 20. 100 divided by 20, that's 5. 19, when you round it, you need to add 1. That becomes 20. 30, you can write 10. 20 divided by 10, that's 2. 78 becomes 80 when you add 1. 8, so think about this is 0 there. So 8 is the number, so you have to add 1. So this becomes 10. 80 divided by 10, answer is 8. The height of 12-story building is 32 meters. If all the stories are of the same height, estimate the height of one story. So estimate means you don't need the exact value. You don't need. You can round off all these values. So what is the actual height of the building? 32 meters. That's the actual. But you can find the value nearest to 10 because the final answer is an estimated value. So to the nearest 10, what's the number? That's 30. Number of stories is given 12. When you round that value nearest 10, you get 10. So estimate height of one story. So what's the height? You can just divide. 30 divide by 10. So roughly 3 meters. Height of the one story is 3 meters roughly. Vessel A completely filled with water and its height is 40. So the whole thing is 40. Vessel B of similar dimensions is partly filled with water. So this much of water. Estimate the height of water. Now can you see? This part is divided, the whole thing, into 4 parts. So you get same portion 4 times. So how we can estimate this height? We can say 40 divided by 4 because the total length is 40. 4 parts are there. So what about the height of one part? So you can say estimated height of water in B vessel is equal to 40 centimeters divided by 4. So you get roughly 10 centimeters. So one part is 10 centimeter height. Piyal, who goes on a journey, taken train for a distance of 77 kilometers, then taken a bus for a distance of 32 kilometers and completes the journey of 18 kilometers on a bicycle. Estimate the whole distance covered. No need to add exact values. So you can round it to the nearest 10. Distance by train, 77 kilometers. What's the value nearest to 10? This becomes 80 kilometers because you have to add 1. Distance by bus, 32 kilometers. When you round it to the nearest tens, you get that. That's 30 kilometers. Distance by bicycle, 18 kilometers. And when you round this value, you get 20 kilometers. So what's the estimated total distance? You can add 80, 30 and 20. So what's the total? 130 kilometers. At 10, 30, 130 kilometers. Fill in the blanks and add rounded to the nearest 10. 39 is 40. 54, we are not adding, that's 50. 49 becomes 50 when you round off to the nearest 10. 72 becomes 70. 81 becomes 80. 66 becomes 70. You need to add 1. 69 also becomes 70. Now we'll add the actual value and the rounded value and see whether this is the same or roughly the same. 9 plus 4, 13. 13 plus 2, 15, 16. 16 plus 9, 25. 25 plus 6, 31. 31 plus 9, 40. So 0. 4 remaining. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 plus 5, 12. 12 plus 4, 16. 16 plus 7. 16 plus 7, 23. 23 plus 8, 31. 31 plus 6, 37. 37 plus 6, 43. So you get 430. That's the actual value. Now we'll take the rounded value and see. 0, 9. 9 plus 5, 14. 14 plus 7, 21. 29. Then 36. 36 plus 7, 430. Now see, when you rounded the value nearest to 10 and when you take the total or the actual total is the same. Are the two answers of the addition the same? Yes, you get the same answer. So this way is easy to add. Here you have to add each and every number. Round off to the nearest 100. So what we do? First you take the arrow to the digit. Check the next number. Yes, 7 is more than 5. So you add 1. So the answer is 300. This one, 8 is the next number. So you need to add 1. So what's the answer? 400. This one, 5 is there. Next number is 6. So you need to add 1. 600. 4 is the digit. 1 is there. So you don't need to add. 400 is the answer. Next digit is 3, less than 5. We don't add it. This one, we need to add 1. That becomes 900. Round off to the nearest 100 and find the answer. So we'll round it to the nearest 100. 7 is there, so you need to add 1. So this becomes 300. What about this one? We don't need to add, that becomes 500. 500 and 300, answer is 800. 423, you don't need to add, so that's 400. This one, 7. 7 means you need to add. That's also 400. Answer is 800. Now the subtraction. This is 3. So the next digit is more than 5. Add 1. So this is 400. This is 8. So you need to add 1. 200. 400 minus 200. Answer is 200. This is the digit you need to round. Next number is less than 5. So no need to add. Here, next number is 7. More than 5. Add 1 to that. You get 400 there. 600 minus 400. You get 200. There are 28 rules on a page of single-ruled exercise book. Estimate the number of rules in 40-page exercise book. So number of rules on a page, 28. When you round it to the nearest 10, what you get? That's 30. You need to add 1. Total number of rules is each page 30 rules and 40-page exercise book. So 30 times 40. So altogether you get 1200 rules are there in 40-page exercise book. There are 89 pins in a small box. Estimate how many pins are there in 43 boxes. So sometimes it differs. 89, 90, 88. So what's the number of pins in a box? 89. What's the rounded value to the nearest 10? That's 90, because 9 is more than 5. You need to add 1 to the previous number. So total number of pins, each box 90 roughly, and 43 boxes are there. Here 43, you can take 43 or 40 also possible. Now we'll multiply. It's easy to multiply. 0, 9 times 3, 27. 2 remaining. 9 times 4, 36 plus 2, 38. 3,870 pins are there. There are 49 matchsticks in a box. Estimate total number of matchsticks in 19 boxes. So number of matchsticks in a box is 49. Round that value to the nearest 10. This becomes 50. Number of boxes also you can round it. That's 19. Roughly you can take to the nearest 10. That's 20. Now total number of matchsticks you can multiply 15 to 20. 0, 0, 5 times 2, 10. 1000 matchsticks altogether. There are students in between 38 and 42 in a school. There are 29 classes. Estimate total number of students in the school. So you can estimate both the values. In between 38 and 42, what's the number you can take? Number of children or students in that class? We can take 40. So 38 or 42, you can take the mid value. 38 becomes 40, 42 becomes 40 when you round it to the nearest 10. So 40, so you can write 40 here. Number of classes, 29 classes are there. When you round it to the nearest 10, that's 30. So how many are there altogether? Number of students or children, it's 30 times 40. You get 1200 children in the school. Now we'll look at exercises in your textbook. Example number 1. The figure shows 2 stacks of copies of a certain newspaper. There are 10 newspapers in stack B. This is 10. Estimate the number of newspapers there are in stack A. Now we can compare. So when you take this one, this is like 4 times bigger. So how can we estimate the number of newspapers in stack A? 4 times of one height is 10. 10 papers are there. So you can clearly say the height of stack A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times of the height of stack B. That's 40 newspapers are there. So the height is that. So how many newspapers? This is like number of newspapers. So number of newspapers roughly 40. Example number 2. Figure P shows a glass container filled with marbles that were for sale in a certain shop. Figure Q shows the same container after 16 marbles were sold. That means this one is 16. Estimate the total number of marbles there were in the container initially. So one part is 16. How many parts are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of that. So we can estimate number of marbles. (16) times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 16 times 7. 7 times 6, 42. 7 times 1, 7 plus 4, 11. Or you can estimate 16, you can estimate to 20. 20 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 20 times 7, 140. But we know that there are 7 parts with 16. You can do 16 times 7. Exercise 6.1. The figure shows a wall which is being built. Estimate the total number of bricks that are required for the whole wall and write it down. So what can you say roughly? So we can find out number of bricks lengthwise and height-wise and then multiply. So the area is the total number of bricks you need. So what's the length? Length of wall? We can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here this half and this half, 11. Then what about this side? 1. So you have to take 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Height. Height you need 25. So the total number of bricks you find the area. 11 times 25. 11 times 5, 55. 11 times 2, 22 plus 5, 27. So roughly we need 275 bricks. The figure illustrates how papadums have been spread out and left to dry? Estimate the number of papadums there are and write it down. So roughly you can find out. Lengthwise how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 this way. Height-wise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So what's the total number of papadums? Total number is equal to 24 times 16. Multiply and see. 10 and 6. You multiply by 1. 240. Multiply by 6. 6 times 4, 24. 2 remaining. 6 times 2, 12 plus 2, 14. So you get 384. That's a rough value. Estimated number of papadums, 384. Question number 3. The figure illustrates how 11 books have been placed in a compartment of a book rack. So this is 11 books are there. Estimate number of similar books that are required to fill up the book rack completely and write it down. So how we do that? These are estimates. Number of books. Each compartment 11 books. How many compartments altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25 compartments are there. So just multiply 25 times 11. Each one 11. So 11 times 5, 55. 5 remaining. 11 times 2, 22 plus 5, 27. 275 books we can input in this compartment. Question number 4. In a certain school, there are 3 parallel classes in each grade from grade 6 to grade 11, named 6A, B, C, 7A, B, C. Each class has approximately the same number of students. The number of students in class 6A is 36. Estimate the total number of students there are in this school in grade 6 to 11 and write it down. So first, how many classes altogether? Number of classes. Each grade 3. How many numbers? 6 to 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6 grades are there. So 6 times 3, 18 classes are there. Each class 36. Number of students in each class. All these are estimates. That's 36. So what's the total number of students? Estimate total number of students, because we assume that in all classes the number of students are the same. So 36 times 18. So multiply 36 times 18, 10 and 8. Multiply by 1, 8 times 6, 48. 8 times 3, 24 plus 4, 28. You get 14 and 6. 648 students are there in this school. Example number 1. Round off the following numbers to the nearest multiple of 10 and write them down. Tens place. So the 8 is more than 5, so you have to add 1. That's 80. This one, 36. 6 is more than 5, you need to add 1. That's 40. 53, you don't need to add 1, so that becomes 50. 85 again, you need to add 1, that becomes 90. This is to the nearest 10. Write the following numbers, select and write down the numbers which when rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10 has 40 as the solution. So 45, what happens? You have to add 1, so that becomes 50. 44, yes, you don't add, so that becomes 40. 37, you have to add 1, that becomes 40. 48, you have to add 1, that becomes 50. 35, add 1, so you get 40. So what are the numbers you get 40? 44, 37, 35. Example number 3. When the marks that erasure received for science at the term test were rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10, the value obtained was 70. Niromi, I'll write that down. So it's erasure, rounded value is 70. Then Niromi, who received 67 marks, had scored more marks than erasure at this test. What are the values that the marks erasure received can take? So 67, but more than erasure. What are the values that the marks erasure received can take? So this is 67. Now it says this is more than erasure's mark. This is a rounded value. How you can get 70 there? So the possibilities are towards this side 65, 66, 67, 68, 69 and 70 to get a value 70 but less than that. But it says erasure's marks are lower than 67. Lower than 67 means what are the possible marks for erasure? That can be either 65 or 66. Then only you can get 70 as the rounded value. Exercise 6.2. Round off the following prices to the nearest multiple of 10 and write them down. This is the tens place, so you don't add. So what's the value for the first one? That becomes 10 rupees. Second one, this is 38. So 8 is bigger than 5, you add 1. 40 rupees. Price of a book is 83. So this is 8. Next digit is less than 5. So this becomes 80. And the last one, price of piece of cheese is 75 rupees. When you take the next digit, you have to add 1. So this becomes 80 rupees. So these values rounded to multiple of 10. When a certain number is rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10, the value obtained is 90. Write down the values that this number can take. So towards this side, you can take 91. We are not adding 92, 93, 94. Can we take 95? Then it becomes 100. So you can't take. To this side, you can take 89. We are adding 1. So 88, 87, 86 and 85. Can we take 84? No, then it becomes 80 as the rounded value. So these are the values rounded to the nearest 10, that's 90. For each number in group A, select the number in group B which is obtained when the number is rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10. And join the two numbers with a straight line. 37. So you are adding 1, that becomes 40. 48, you are adding 1, this becomes 50. 32, you are not adding 1, so that's 30. 45, we need to add 1, that becomes 50. 55, you need to add 1, that becomes 60. 36, yes, you need to add 1, that's 40. 54, less than 5, so you don't need to add 1, so this becomes 50. And 43, you don't need to add 1 because it's less than 5, this becomes 40. So we know how to round the numbers to the nearest 10. When the number of students in a class was rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10, the value obtained was 40. What is the least number of students that can be in the class? Towards this side. So what's the least number? 35. 34 you can't take, 35 is the least number. Then what is the most number of students that can be in the class? Can you take 45? You can't take 45, so you can take only up to 44. So the highest number is 44. Question number 5. The marks that were obtained for mathematics by a group of grade 6 students are given below. Rounded off value. So you are asked, copy this table in your exercise book and complete it by writing the values which are the nearest multiples of 10 of the given mark. So rounded to the nearest 10. You need to add 1. So 77 becomes 80. 75, add 1. That becomes 80. 96, yes, you have to add 100. 58, rounded. Then you need to add 1. That becomes 60. Here also 5 is there, so you need to add 1. This becomes 50. 85 becomes 90 because 5 you need to add 1. Then, what is the sum of all the marks received by the students? This total they are asking. 10, 18, then 24, 29. 29 plus 7, 36. 3 remaining. You get 12. 12 plus 5, 17. 17 plus 9, 17 plus 9, 26. 26 plus 14, 40. So did we add these 3? Again you get 36, 3 remaining, then 8 plus 4, you didn't add it. So 40 plus 3, 43. 436 is the actual total. What's the total of rounded values? 16, 22. 22, 31, 36. So you get 460. So that's the rounded total and this one is the actual total. So it's close, but not, to the nearest 10, like it's like 20 marks away, like. So you can round this to 440. This is 60. The difference is 20. When the total number of mangoes that a certain trader had was rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10, the value obtained was 60. So that's the rounded value. When two fruits which were spoiled were removed from the stock and the remaining number was rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10, the value obtained was 50. So after you removed 2, the rounded value was 50. What are the values that the total number of mangoes he initially had can take? So if this is rounded to 50, what are the possibilities? You can get 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51 up to 54. And when you remove 2, you are getting this value. So rounded to 60. Tell me, when you subtract 2, then you have to add 2 to this, because here you get subtract 2, and what happens when you add 2 here? What are the possibilities you are getting? 47, 48, 49, and 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56. Now, these numbers, rounded value is 60. What are the possibilities you can get 60? This is 50. All these values are 50. You can't take. Now, this can be 55, then rounded value is 60. Or this can be 56. Rounded value becomes 60 then. So, what are the values that the number of mangoes he initially had can take? Either 55 or 56. Miscellaneous exercise. Question number 1. Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every clear and humming insect is holy in the memory and experience of my people. The sap which courses through the trees carries the memories of the red man. The white man's dead forget the country of their birth when they go to walk among the stars. Our dead never forget this beautiful earth, for it is the mother of the red man. We are part of the earth and it is part of us. The perfume flowers are our sisters, the deer, the horse, the great eagle. These are our brothers. The rocky crest, the juices in the meadows, the body heat of the pony and the man all belongs to the same family. So this part of speech made by Native American chief Seattle in 1854. So count the number of words there are in any 3 lines of the above paragraph and write it down. So you can take any 3 lines. So we'll take first 3 and count number of words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So I got 35 words are there when I take first three lines. Using the above answer, estimate the total number of words there are in the paragraph and write it down. So, how many three-line sections are there? Another three, another three, another three. So, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sections of each three lines. So, how can we find out the total number of words? Each three line 35 words. How many parts are like this? 4. 35 times 4. 20. 2 remaining. 12 plus 2. 14. So roughly 140 words in this paragraph. Question number 2. Gihan mentions that when an estimate is made, the answer depends on the person who is making the estimate. Do you agree with his idea? Explain your answer. I told you before that when you want to overtake, you have to be careful with the speeds. So you can get a better estimate if you have the experience and then careful observation. So you can say agree to this statement. You can say agree to the Gihan statement. Why is that? Better estimate with experience, careful observation. Question number 3. Figure 1 illustrates a bottle containing marbles that was in a certain shop. It is mentioned that there are 200 marbles in the bottle. Nimal, who bought the bottle of marbles, distributed most of it among his friends, and what was remaining is illustrated in figure 2. Estimate the number of marbles that he distributed among his friends. So it says altogether 200 marbles are there. So he distributed and the rest is this much. Now how many parts are like that? When you take a rough measurement, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts are there. 4 parts means 200. So you need 3 parts of that because we want to estimate the number of marbles that he distributed. Number of marbles distributed. So you can say 200 divided by 4 is 1 part. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 part is that much. We need 3 parts like that. 4 times 5, 20, 50 times 3, 150 marbles. He gave it to his friends. Question number 4. The value of the marks that Sachini received from mathematics at the term test when rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10 was 80. Gayatri, whose actual marks were 82, had scored less than Sachini. This is Gayatri. 82, whose actual marks 82 had scored less than Sachini. So this is less. What are the values that the actual marks with Sachini received? Can take. So 80 is the value. So what are the possible numbers you can get for 80? And this is less. So that means we have to take more towards this side. So this can be 81, 82, 83, 84. Now 82 is a lesser number than this. So what are the possible numbers then for Sachini? It can be 83 or 84. Question number 5. The number of students in a certain class rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10 was 40. When 9 new students joined this class, the number of students in the class rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10 was still 40. How many students were there in the class initially? We can start from here. This is still rounded to 40. What are the possibilities? Towards this side, this is 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Towards this side, towards the other side, you can get 41, 42, 43, 44. That's the maximum value. Now, this is added 9 here. So, we subtract 9 there. Each number subtract 9. 35 minus 9. 26. So, you get 26, 27, 28, 29. 30. Here 39 minus 9. Then this side 31, 32, 33, 34 and 35. So that's towards this side. So 40 minus 9, 31. So you can get these numbers. Now, where you get rounded to 40 with these numbers, all these numbers 30, and only this number you get 40. Still the rounded value is 40. So how many students were there in the class initially? That's the only number, that's 35. Question number 6. The number of storybooks that Muhammad has when rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10 is 30. The number of books that Fatima, so this is Muhammad and this is Fatima. Fatima has, when rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10 is 20. Fatima has 3 books less than the number of that Muhammad has. If the two of them together have 49 books, how many books does Muhammad have? So the difference is 3 and the total is 49. How many books does the Muhammad have? We need to predict the number of books that Muhammad has. So here we can start from here. If this is 20, what are the possibilities that you can get for this number? 20 means It can be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and to this end 21, 22, 23, 24. Those are the possibilities. And this is lesser number, so you are adding 3 to that. So when you add 3, what are the possibilities? 15 plus 3, 18. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Maximum is 27. 24 plus 3. Where you get the rounded value 30 here? All these you get 20s. It can be 25, 26 and 27, the rounded values to get 30. Now we need to check whether these possibilities satisfy. So if the total is 49 and 25 we selected, so what's the number of books with Fatima? So this should be 24. So that's possible. If you take 26, 49 minus 26, possibility is 23. So 49, 43. So that's also possible. And if it's 49 and 27 we selected, then 22 is there. So that means that's also possible with these numbers. So what are the possibilities? You can get either 25, 26 or 27. So 3 possibilities are there. So you can get either 25, 26 or 27. So we covered all theory related to estimation and rounding off. So finding a close value for the number of items in a certain collection of items without counting all of them, but using a suitable method is called estimation. Expressing a whole number as the multiple of 10, which is closest to it, is called rounding off to the nearest multiple of 10. And we did rounding off to the nearest 100 place as well. So practice all these exercises and examples and thorough with estimation and rounding off.